Hey, welcome back. My name's Justin. Today I want to talk about the Millenium MPS 1000 and the factory that actually makes it, which is HXM. The tricky thing about covering these European music store brands like Millenium, Gear for Music, or Fame is that they're house brands of European music store chains, and so they don't sell them here in North America like directly in stores that I could go physically visit. So it's hard to actually play something with a Millenium logo or a Gear for Music logo or a Fame logo. But I found a sneaky workaround. I can just go play the actual factories who make those things. So in today's video, I'm going to take a look at the Millenium MPS 1000 through the lens of the factory that actually makes it, which is HXM and the XD-2000. But first, today's video is brought to you by edrumcenter.com. Check them out with my discount link below. It helps out the channel, and you're buying from a great store based in Tennessee. Okay, so first up, I want to just do a side tangent and talk about who manufactures Millenium electronic drums. Yes, HXM makes the drum set we're talking about today, but when it comes to their whole lineup, it turns out that there's possibly 3 to 4 other factories in the mix. HXM is the factory that makes the Millenium MPS 750X, the 750X Pro, and the MPS 1000. The next factory in the mix, as far as I can tell, is Medley. So this company makes the Millenium MPS 450, and I think they possibly might make the 850, maybe others. I'm not exactly sure. The next factory in the mix, I think, is Aroma. And finally, either Hampback or the factory that makes Hampback is behind the Millenium Rookie. There may be other companies that I missed. I didn't cover every single Edrum product, but you get the point. The reason why this isn't just random Edrum trivia, and it's actually useful to know, is that shopping for a brand that uses a lot of different companies to make their stuff is fundamentally different from shopping from a different company that only uses one factory and one design team to make everything. Let me give you an example. If I'm shopping for a Yamaha electronic drum set and I sit down and play a Yamaha DTX-8, I can get a decent sort of idea of what a DTX-10 and 6 will be like, even though I haven't played them, because they're all made in the same spot and they're all designed by the same company. Meanwhile, if I play a Millenium MPS 450, just because I played that drum set, I have no idea what a Millenium Rookie will be like, and I have no idea what a Millenium MPS 1000 will be like, because completely different factories made all those different drum sets, nobody was talking to each other, and there is no unified vision there. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing necessarily. What I am saying, though, is that just because you played a Millenium drum set or two doesn't mean that you actually know what all their other drum sets will be like, so take everything on a case-by-case basis and do a lot of research before buying anything. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's talk about the HXM XD-2000, which I was told by the representative at the company who actually worked on the drum set that this is a one-to-one with the Millenium MPS 1000. So this drum set has a 20 by 16 inch kick drum. The snare is 13 by 5.5. The toms are 10 by 6, 12 by 6, and 14 by 14. For cymbals, you get a one-piece 14-inch hi-hat that uses an optical sensor for open and closed. You get 2 15-inch crash cymbals and an 18-inch ride. Be careful if you start trying to substitute different cymbals on this drum set because you need to make sure the wiring actually matches up. Like for example, on the ride cymbal, it uses a one cable configuration, which means that it's not going to be compatible with a roll and ride, an F-note ride, or an ATV ride because they all use a 2 cable configuration for bell bow and bow edge. You can buy it with 2 high toms and 1 floor tom. You can buy it with 1 high tom and 2 floor toms. You can also buy it with 2 high toms and 2 floor toms. For shell colors, you've got dark silver, you got white, and you've got wood. Now, the one thing that makes this drum set I played a little bit different than the Millenium MPS 1000 is that I played a version that has a speaker on the inside of the kick drum and 2 passive speaker ports that go to satellite speakers around the drum. It's actually really interesting. It didn't get quite as loud as I was expecting, but I think it's a nice value add, and it didn't seem to mess up the triggering of the bass drum. The size of the speaker appears to scale with the size of the drum set you buy. For example, the smaller kick drum pad uses a different speaker setup than the larger 20-inch shell. Also, it looks like at least in 2023, they're using JBL for their XD-2000 kick drum. I don't know about this year because I did play the drum set this year to get this footage, but I didn't check the speaker driver this time. Now, the odd thing is that if you go looking online for HXM drum sets, you can find all kinds of them, but you're going to have a really hard time finding a drum set with the drum amps built in. This seems to be one of those things where it's just something that's really cool to show off at the booth, and they can include it as a feature if you ask them directly, but they're not going to include it stock. So next up, let's talk about the drum module, which is better than you'd expect on a drum set of this price, but also not as good as it actually looks. So it's got a 3.2-inch LCD color screen on it. There are 9 faders that have backlit LEDs underneath. The triggers are handled by DB25 cable snake, plus an extra port for Crash 2 and aux 1. You've got 8 direct outs, you've got that 1/8-inch aux input, you've got USB-A and USB-B. There are 820 sounds inside of it, 40 preset kits, and 40 user sets. You got sample import, which I believe is 335 megabytes. For sound edits, you've got pitch and a bunch of different effects. And finally, the module polyphony is 256. So now let's move ahead and talk about overall pros and cons, what I liked about the drum set and what I didn't like about the drum set. Keeping in mind, this is not a review, this is more of a first impressions sort of thing. Although I have played it this year, and I also have played it last year. So it's not like the first time I've played it, but I wouldn't say this is like an in-depth long-term review. All right, so with that in mind, here's what I liked. First of all, this has an extremely low price. So if you buy it from Alibaba, it'll be $689 plus taxes and fees, which will probably be an extra $300 or so. If you buy from AliExpress, it'll be significantly more expensive, so I wouldn't even try to spend $1,300 over there. And then if you buy it under the Millenium brand name and you happen to live in Germany, looks like it's going to cost 999 euros or $899 plus taxes and shipping if you ship it over to the United States. The next thing that I like about the drum set is the module. Now, don't get me wrong, the module sounds aren't that great, especially when you compare it to like the Roland TD-07 or the Yamaha DTX Pro. It's not in that stratosphere. But if you compare it to other Alibaba drum sets around this price, like the Lemon one, it's no contest. I also like the direct outs on the back of the module. I like the fact that there's no hot spotting on this drum set because they're using a side trigger design. Of course, we have to talk about the fact that you're getting a very big drum set for the money. At around $1,000 by the time all is said and done, you're getting the sizing of a Roland VAD 507 or something like that. It's a very big drum set. Another upside is that hardware is included with the drum set, which can save you hundreds of dollars. And I don't want to harp about this too much, but in my opinion, this is an overall better drum set than the Lemon T950. That doesn't mean this is getting off scot-free though. There's a lot of significant downsides when it comes to this drum set, so now let's try to cover those. The first thing is the problem of dynamic range. This is something that the really expensive electronic drum companies like F-Note or Roland, they really try to focus on this and get it right. But some of the cheaper companies like HXM, they don't really focus on it, and so you get a different kind of experience. For example, if you're playing soft to medium level hits, you may get back a sound of a recording of somebody playing a drum really soft or medium level, but the way it's processed and the volume levels combine to make it just not the experience of what you thought you were playing. So if you play with any level of finesse, it's going to be more aggressive than you expect. Also, this isn't helped by the lack of round robin samples, so there are plenty of times where you'll hear the same kind of sound over and over again. This is what Edrum nerds will call machine gunning. Now sprinkle in the occasional triggering hiccup every now and then, and now you got a drum set that looks like a VAD 507, but it doesn't feel like one. Basically what you're getting here is a giant electronic drum set for not much money, and there's going to be trade-offs that come along with that. Just don't be surprised. You are getting what you're paying for. In fairness though, this is so much cheaper than those drum sets that we need to cut it some slack. It's a $700 drum set, and it's doing a lot with the budget it's been given. I walked away impressed for what it is. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't overhype the experience that you can expect to get when playing it. I would recommend using this drum set with a drum plugin like EasyDrummer for the sounds, and then really take the time to dial in the trigger settings, because out of the box, it'll probably need some fine tuning. There is an advantage of buying the Millenium version of this drum set over the HXM version of the same thing. One of the reasons why people like the Millenium drum set and cut it some slack, even if there are problems they mention in their own reviews, is that if something goes wrong, they can just drive to the music store that they live next to in Germany and just swap out the hi-hat or the module, just get something replaced, because they're contacting a store that is in the same country they live in. There's an inherent downside of ordering directly from a factory overseas, because if something goes wrong, you can't get a replacement part in just a handful of days, like if you bought from an authorized dealer that happens to live in a country where you reside. Okay, so with all that being said, where do I land with this drum set as far as recommendations? Should you buy it? Should you not buy it? Is it worth the money? Here's the thing. I have general good impressions of this drum set. I played it in 2023, I've played it this year, and I've talked to the designer of the drum set a couple of times. However, I haven't lived with the drum set long term like I've lived with other drum sets that are competitors. I'm mostly just talking about the Lemon T950. I'm just becoming a little bit skittish of Chinese electronic drum sets that I don't live with long term to find out what the real pros and cons are after playing it for a longer period of time. You can't always tell what the long-term durability will be or what the actual trigger accuracy it is from playing it really quickly. So I just don't know if I can give you a resounding yes, go buy it or stay away from it. I'm just not quite there yet. I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but I want to be careful when I'm talking about Chinese brands because you never really know what you're getting. As an outside observer, at least, the main sort of problem that I feel like Chinese companies have is that they're all competing heavily on price. They have to make a drum set that looks amazing and packs in as many features as possible while only selling it for like $500 to $700. That is really tough to do. Meanwhile, companies like F-Note or Roland or Yamaha or ATV have the luxury of developing something and then selling it for $3,000 or $5,000. Just HXM does not have that luxury because, like Lemon and other competitors in its space, it has to keep it sub $1,000. So I feel like they have a lot of potential because they're doing a lot for hardly any money right now. If they ever increase their prices and use that extra budget to license better sounds and put more sensors on the inside and dial in the hi-hat, stuff like that, this company could do great things. But whether or not they can achieve some of those things may come down to how much money they want to continue spending to make each drum set. All right, so that is about as far as I'm going to go with this video. If you happen to own one of these drum sets, either under like the HXM brand name, under the Millenium brand name, let me know what you guys think of that drum set down below, your own review, so I can get thoughts of people in the community who actually own this drum set long term. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.